JTL, you think Marbury push cost it? That could have cost it. The push from Marina Marbury. I didn't even think about that, bruh. Who just said it? I didn't even. That could have cost.
This is alarming. I never thought we'd have to make another video like this. But Caitlin Clark is once again being thrown under the bus. Sure, some players are just being competitive, and that's understandable. But now it's starting to feel like they're trying to take Caitlin out, figuratively, of course. The hits are getting more brutal every game, and the WNBA is beginning to look more like a wrestling match than a basketball league. So what exactly happened? We're about to spill all the tea. But before we dive in, write "Protect Caitlin Clark" in the comments if you're tired of this violence going unnoticed. You see, when the Indiana Fever drafted her, they didn't just pick up a talented player, they found the gem of the WNBA. Calling Caitlin Clark a rising star doesn't even do her justice. She's so much more, a walking brand, a ticket seller, and quite possibly the biggest thing to happen to women's basketball in decades, maybe ever. Yet some people act like she's just another rookie, leaving her with zero protection and throwing her into the fire night after night. But that's not all. The real problem begins when the league itself allows it to continue. I'm not trying to be dramatic here, I'm just being honest. Caitlin is worth more than the entire WNBA combined. Right now, she's the WNBA, and she's the reason you're even watching this video.
I would say Caitlin will go down as probably one of the best players to ever grace the league.
Given her incredible impact, you'd think they'd be building statues of her or even changing the league's logo to her draining that signature three-pointer. But no, that's not what's happening at all. Instead of rallying behind her, people don't even show up, and without missing a beat, they tear the league down. What we're seeing is the complete opposite of support. Every day, there's a new clip of Caitlin getting her hair pulled, her eye poked, or being slammed to the floor.
Caitlin Clark was assaulted yesterday in her very first playoff game in the WNBA. We've seen the animus directed at Caitlin Clark.
If you remember, things really started boiling over when Marina Mabrey targeted Caitlin Clark in a not-so-subtle way. That game left most fans in absolute shock. Caitlin was simply bringing the ball up the court with her signature calm focus. You could see it in her body language. She was completely locked into the game. Out of nowhere, Marina swung her arm straight into Caitlin's face, like a deliberate eye poke, and before anyone could react, she shoved Caitlin to the ground. No one in authority stepped in to help. Caitlin was just left there, slightly curled up. Clutching her face while the game continued as if nothing had happened. And if you think that was the end of the unfair treatment, brace yourself, because it only got uglier. Just minutes later, the referees did something completely unexpected. They gave Caitlin a technical foul. Meanwhile, Mabrey stayed on the floor, unbothered, like nothing happened. It was unbelievable. You could literally see Caitlin wincing in pain, holding her face, and somehow she was the one being punished. Fans were furious, and rightfully so. But now, all of this is starting to take a toll on her career. Just last night, she had to sit out her 6th game of the season because she was dealing with a left groin injury. They added her to the injury report only hours before the game against the Los Angeles Sparks. According to Coach Stephanie White, it's a day-to-day situation that depends on how Caitlin responds to treatment. She didn't share many details about the severity of the injury but mentioned she learned about it Wednesday night. Caitlin has already undergone an MRI to assess the damage.
Last night, I think it's very much a day-to-day thing, how she responds to treatment. I stay in my lane and let our strength and conditioning and our physical, our AT staff do what they do best.
And here's the scary part. Caitlin hasn't looked like herself on the court lately. In 2 of the last 3 games, she missed every single 3-point attempt and has gone just 1 for 23 from deep overall. She's also turned the ball over 22 times during their West Coast trip. In their last game against Seattle, she scored only 6 points, her lowest of the season. And now she's missing an even more important game, their only home matchup between June 17th and July 3rd, all because of a groin injury. Now I want you to watch this clip very carefully.
Hands it off as Clark's back in. She goes down.
Oh,
And mid-court and
I didn't want to
flexing
see
that
that.
ankle.
Oh, this lead.
Caitlin rolls over in pain and then just sits there, clutching her groin. No one directly shoved her in that moment, but even without contact, her body is clearly breaking down from all the physical punishment she's endured lately. That's what makes this even scarier. In times like this, you know what would have been really helpful? A little support from Coach Stephanie White. But something feels off, you can sense it.
Started yesterday, like pain in the left groin.
It had to have been at some point during the day because they took her out yesterday, for the MRI. So I'm not exactly sure. I didn't hear about it until we heard from our training staff last night.
And if I'm being brutally honest, you can't trust Stephanie White. She is not the coach to lead the Indiana Fever into this new era. Honestly, maybe it's time to fire her. And do we even have any other choice? It's long overdue for her to realize that if Caitlin keeps getting hurt, the team could eventually lose her, and that would be a massive loss. The Indiana Fever don't seem to grasp what they have. They are literally sitting on $1 billion opportunity over the next few years. They're selling out arenas, dominating national headlines, and their jersey sales are through the roof, and behind all of it is Caitlin Clark. Fans understand this, but Stephanie clearly doesn't. It's become so frustrating that many fans don't even want her associated with the league anymore. Just to show you how bad things have gotten, earlier this week Lynn Dunn went full scorched earth on social media. And this isn't just some random fan ranting from their couch. This is a woman who's a legend in women's basketball. She was the first ever coach and general manager of the Seattle Storm, so when she speaks up, people pay attention.
I wasn't surprised. I followed her career from the time she was a sophomore in Iowa. I watched all of her games, and I kept thinking about how in the world are we going to get this player? How are we going to make sure when she comes out?
She's the same woman who led the Indiana Fever to their first WNBA championship. With over 500 career wins, it's safe to say Lynn Dunn is a true pioneer of the game. So when someone like her starts calling things out publicly, it's not just a little smoke. It's a storm brewing inside the Fever organization. And what did she post? She summed it all up in just one line, asterisk. Don't expect the players to do it if you don't drill it. Asterisk, one simple sentence, but it said everything. If you read between the lines, it's undeniably a shot at Stephanie White. After all, who's responsible for drilling things into the players, setting the tone, demanding structure, and building chemistry? Of course, the coach. Let's take a quick trip down memory lane. This Fever team entered the season acting like they were building a super squad. They picked up experienced players like Natasha Howard, Sophie Cunningham, and Sydney Colson. On paper, it looked fantastic, like a contender in the making. But once the season started, it all fell apart. Even at a glance, you could tell something was off. The chemistry was non-existent, and the vibes were just bad. But here's where it gets even worse. It's not just about the losses. The real issue is how badly they are treating Caitlin Clark. You've got one of the most electrifying offensive players we've seen in years, someone who lit up scoreboards and basically broke the internet. She was supposed to be the centerpiece of the future. Instead, the coach took the ball out of her hands and stuck her in a stiff, boring system that sucks the life out of the game. It's honestly heartbreaking. You don't hand a generational talent the keys to the league and then lock her in a cage. If this is how we treat the future of women's basketball, what hope does the league even have? Caitlin Clark deserves so much better. It's time we stand up, for her and for the game itself, against the coach, the league, Marina Mabrey, and anything else standing in her way. If you support her, write "Protect Caitlin Clark" in the comments. Even if the league stays silent, we won't. And for more WNBA coverage, be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel.